Open meeting of the Board of Commissioners of South Lafourche Levee District will now come to order. Back and do this pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor, would you please call the roll?
Ronald Colley,
Here.
Clarence Marks, Mitch Stanoff,
Here.
Roland Curall,
Here.
Roland Guidry,
Here.
Bob Falk, Neely Rome,
Here.
Keith Guidry,
Here.
and Monty Vegas.
Here.
Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Okay, you've got a copy of the minutes of the regular meeting of February 10th. Any corrections to these additions to minutes as presented? If not, the chair will entertain a motion of adoption. Moved by Max, seconded by Keith. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Just a reminder of the ALBL workshop, dated the 7th and the 8th, through the 8th. If you haven't made arrangements, let Mary know. She's going to take care of it. Okay, audience comments. Anybody here for purposes of addressing the board? If not, we'll move on.
Well, we got Jimmy Bottle off.
I don't want to say that.
I don't want you to say that. I'm just letting everybody know who you are.
Okay, so Jimmy doesn't want to say anything. We'll move on to the general management report.
He has something to say.
Yeah, he does.
That's what you're paying for.
You on the page?
I'm on the page.
It's
The middle, it's the middle, it's the middle.
We're also going to
Come on.
Today's day.
Okay, got it.
There's the popcorn. All right. This is a,
This is the one with Keith Ellis.
okay, Pete Nelson did this video, and it's been on the internet for a long time. But I want you to take a look at it, because he did a good job of, this is Ike, Hurricane Ike at 12 of it. And it's got a bunch of views, but we had about ballpark a 6-foot storm surge, and the levee was right at about probably a 9. That's looking northeast right now. And the road you're gonna see right here, that's the ramp over Globally when you go to the camps. Okay, here's okay, there you see the levee, and that's right around maybe a 9 to 10 feet at the most. We're gonna see some Rita film. For Rita, the levee was around 7 feet, and it was slightly over top for Rita, but not enough even to flood anybody. But the storm was, and this Ike was hitting Texas when this was going on. So, you know, that's not a lot of clearance when you think of a storm that's a couple hundred miles away, pushing this much water. And let's see if we can do it fast. And then you look at that inside the levee system, that line is about a -8. And here the water's about a +7 on the outside. But again, when things worked out, and not a problem. But again, look at Ike a few years, 2 years before, 3 years before. We had slide over topping. We did a lift right after Katrina hit. I mean Katrina and Rita. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yes. Now this first part is going to be Tropical Storm Bill. Just a tropical storm. This is Leeville. And the point I want to make is, here's the road right here. The road is at a +2 to 3 foot elevation, completely under. LA1 in Golden Meadow, and the 4-lane highway is near 1, just 1. Okay, this is at a +2 to 3, completely underwater, tropical storm. And this is how a lot of Golden Meadow, well, all of Golden Meadow, a lot of Galliano. Now this is Rita. And again, that's the same place right here. Okay, the water was probably around the same height as Ike, but we didn't have, here's Apache in Golden Meadow, Levee Bridge. That, you know, they show a lot of images like that to show global warming. But again, here's the area over here, but this, it's moving on its own.
Yeah,
You hold it?
yes, I can,
Yeah, just, yeah.
take it back,
Okay, further over here, we had slide overtopping. The debris line was on top of the levee when I passed after Rita. And not enough water to pond, but we just barely getting flooded. And that was right around the levee was probably around 7-foot elevation. We built it up to 10 right after, and then you saw what the height looked like that was around it. And again, we had, but that's the only place that we had that issue. But again, Rita hit right into the Texas, Louisiana line. Now, this is on the west side. And again, this is looking toward probably Cocoa in that area. And there was nothing but water between the levee and Cocoa was underwater this time. Again, this is Rita. Again, we maintained the Bar Canal about -6, and for Rita, it got close to about +6 on the outside. And again, this is at Apache. I mean, inside, nobody could tell anything was going on. But we had water that came pretty high up against the levee for this storm. Can I control it? Okay, you got it. That's the ground level. This is at about 11 feet, 11-foot elevation right here. And we had water kind of coming through the seams. Again, no major problems, but a little bit too close to the top. Now, this is at 11 right now. The levee's at 17 feet. We have a levee of 17-foot elevation over this wall right now. Okay. And of course, that's an iconic picture that Barry, every storm now, people come to the end of LA1. 22 miles LA1's underwater from here to Fouchon to Grand Isle. And that happens even with the slight storms. And again, they're showing pictures like this with global warming. Well, you don't need any global warming. It's here. Any type of minor storm, we get that. But of course, this is before we have the overpass. But again, a reminder, that elevated highway that you mentioned to come down inside the levee system is at a 22-foot elevation. But when it comes down in the system, not too far from where Apache's at, that road's only at a +1. Okay, we're gonna spend $800 million to get the road there, but it can only work well if we have our levee do what it's supposed to do, which we intend to make it happen. Again, that's LA1, going Golden Valley here, this is going right now. Okay. Now, one of the things I'd like the board to do, we have a number of projects that we have identified that we want to get built in the low areas, because you have to raise a little bit. Typically, we'll wait till we have construction money before we'll spend the full engineering, because engineering costs money to get the full project done. So we usually wait, not tie up our money in engineering if it's not going to be built within the immediate future. But because there's a lot of more base money than they thought, there was a surplus last year, and we have that watershed money available. There's a chance that some people won't be building their projects as fast as they need to, and we move a lot quicker than a lot of people. I would suggest that the board would allow that we go ahead and get full engineering on all those projects. That'll probably cost us a little bit more than $500,000 to do that. But if, again, we get just one project that's available because we're ready to go, those things could cost anywhere from $1 million to $3 million. So we're going to go through the different projects. Of course, this is the number one we're trying to get done and hopefully get sorted this year. This is the wall at Golden Meadow Pump Station wall over here. Hurricane barrier, 6-foot elevation, and it's about 7 more feet, 7.5 to get to the top. The preliminary engineering is telling, well, the detailed engineering is saying we can go to 17 feet. So unless there's any objection, we will tell our engineers that that is the elevation that we're going to go to. And they looked at 18, but it was right on the edge, and we wanted to make sure that we didn't have somebody from the state or the feds that say that we're getting too close and pull it back. So we decided to go 17 unless anybody has any objections. This is one of the areas, this is pump station number 4 near Yankee Canal. This is the D-South levee that encompasses the Schwez Farm. And this is an area that's 4 feet low. You see where the truck is? The rest of the levee on this side and all the way to the other side of the crawfish pond pump station is low, about 4 feet. We have a contractor right now starting to do work in that area. So I just want to make them aware. It would have been a priority to do, but we're starting that work. This is another project that the engineering we're going to finish with, and that's the crawfish pond pump station. We need to raise the whole system up to about, we think we can get 17-foot elevation here also. John here?
17 or 18.
Yeah, the possibility of getting to 18. But he's given us 4 options and 4 different prices for it, but the 17-foot elevation looks like we can accomplish it at one of the cheaper prices. Again, we need to raise all of this and these areas also, this area also. We have levees up to 16 on either end. What is, John, this about 11?
I think it's almost 12.
12.
Concrete.
This was, yeah, way back after Katrina and Rita, the Corps came down and, you know, we didn't make the fort supplemental. I was gonna raise the levee, so kind of said, all right, well, we'll take care of the wall structures. And he said, you know, y'all can handle the levees. Well, we didn't raise it. We told them we were trying to raise the levees to 16, but they only built these, I don't know why they came up with those elevations. After they told us that the levees were too low, they didn't go as high as we did with these projects. So if you notice the pump station in Golden Meadow, the Corps did that. The Corps did this one, the Corps did the one at Delta Farms Road, and also did the wall at the loop wall. Okay, and here's, you know, part of that road that we need to raise, section F. We're also looking at doing, again, the detention pond, a retention pond, that can help us really start controlling the bayou a lot more. Again, the surface water on the bayou combined with this is 1.9 square miles. If we take this out, that takes out the 0.9, which means we can double our ability to reduce the height of the water in Lafourche. Right now, it takes us 24 hours to bring it down 0.2 of a foot. We isolate this during the rainfall and both floodgates are closed. We'll be able to handle 0.4 of a foot in 24 hours. And that's easier to let us manage opening the floodgate in the roads. This is the eventually what became the loop ramp. At first, they had a gate years ago, and then we asked them to change it into a ramp. Okay, and then because the levees got higher, we started having to put HESCO baskets that continued getting higher. And then we asked that it be converted into a ramp, and our levees had gotten this high. And so they built the ramp, and now the levees are this high. So we want to go back and raise the ramp to the height of the levee. Because right now we'll have to put HESCO baskets if we get a strong storm. So that's another one of the projects that we want to get done. The other thing that's been going on just north of pump station number 2, this is Bullet Camp. And we have raised the levee here up to 20 feet right here. This levee is somewhere around 14 feet. We're working toward bringing it to 18. From here all the way to the Falls Farm, trying to get that to 18. Remember the first contract put all the dirt on this side. Took a big barge, a dredge to get it across. Now with some small equipment and cheap equipment, and it costs us about $3 to get it here. We're hoping to get it here and on the levee, hopefully for $2. We're going to try to get a bid somewhere in that ballpark. If it's another $3, that means $6 a cubic yard, which is cheaper than almost everybody else. But if we can do that, and are we advertising that yet?
Yes.
It's being advertised right now.
Bids at the end of the month.
Yeah. And so we've got a good shot by the end of, when the hurricane comes, we'll have a good portion of this close to 18 feet. Yeah. But we're looking at different options. there was more dirt to move than anticipated. I mean, the cost higher, but our main thing is to get, our main goal is to get the crown close to 18. The other thing that's important is you look at the outside over here, and you look on the inside. We're maintaining the water over here a little bit above -7 feet. This is at +1, guys. Okay, that's almost 8-foot differential from one side to the other. Without the levee, this is all over. And it's still frustrating when you look at this and you say that the judge said that an acre of property here is worth the same as an acre of property along the 4-lane highway. I mean, property along the 4-lane highway is subdivision type property. You can develop it, snap of a finger. You gotta spend a ton of money to bring a road, power, and water to the back. Again, the board made a good decision at the $2,000 an acre, and it was a terrible decision to go with 10,000. It just wasn't worth it. Again, this is some more of the dirt we find out and ready to place on top of the levee. This is some AEs. We did this hydraulically. We'll be eventually adding dirt to the berm here. But President Collins, we talked, having this type of hydraulic soil, you're breaking up that soil into really small pieces. With a dredge, it's kind of chunky, it's actually tighter, and it's better for levees. But what we plan to do is dig out the area, before we put this stuff, we'll dig out the area and place that on the levee. And we'll let the hydraulic material just be weight on the backside. But again, that's a project we need to do to increase the berm of the levee, make it more stable. And then the other issue is the wall and the walls. We need to have some protection from bolts on intercoastal being pushed into the wall. There's a lot of pictures to that. Here's the work that we did when we raised the wall up to 13 feet. Now, what the Corps' work was only to about 10.5. The other thing is they stopped here because their way of protecting the wall was by putting the rocks here. They felt if they went further over here, the water gets deeper quicker, and the weight of the rocks would jeopardize the strength of the levee. So they just stopped. Well, we can't afford to have the rest of the wall at 8 feet, so we went in and put it 13 feet. And we're looking at putting a project, maybe a series of bulkheads to help protect that part of the wall. The other major project, of course, is trying to change the road floodgate into a lock. Basic design, we're looking at maybe a steel barge instead of a concrete barge. Might make it easier to bring in and also to do repairs. Instead of taking out just the gates themselves, take out the whole barge and float it out and get it reworked at a shipyard. Okay, that's present work that's going on right now. Good progress. Here's going north, here's the coastal canal, we're looking north. Again, we did the gates. Last time that refurbished, we brought them up to 13. Then we did the parapet wall around our buildings, our control buildings. And now the project is bringing that 13 feet all the way to the 13-foot levees that we built a few years ago. So,
The width of the lots.
this is 56 feet.
So when you bring a board, you have to do a 54-foot board?
Yeah, we've had 54-foot barges go through, 55 even. Yeah, we've had 55 go through. They go slow, and we've been able to do that. The project has come out real well. So we've got a good 13 solid all the way to here, but then over here we down to like 10.5. But we can, if we have a really powerful storm, the way it's set up with the concrete, we can pretty quickly put up ESCO baskets. You know, with trucks and equipment, probably a day with enough equipment, we can probably get most of that up and add
That
another
film,
3 feet.
can you zoom in with this?
No, not this side.
Well, what are you looking at? Looking at the corner and the coastal about right there. Where we have both, we're running into the problem. The bulkhead here, just wondering how it's holding up.
Oh, we had boats, they were nosing in, and once we passed the rule that they know we put this on, we haven't had boats nosing in on it at all. But, Joey, I did put some sheep out here, right?
That's the sheet pile that was left over from Neil's job, that
Right.
we put right there. And then we're also gonna put riprap from the edge of the sheet pile all the way back,
All the way back here.
all the way back to the high wall, yeah.
Yeah.
Wendell, wasn't the steepness of that levee also a problem to maintain?
Well,
and
yeah.
Address it?
Well, it was one of the things, we wanted to get the elevation and we were gonna take care of it the best we could. The steepest part was right here, that's where we had a little bit of a slide, and they've gone in and put some sheet pile in here. So that's gonna need the stability of the levee over here. And it's, still gonna be somewhat steep, but it's not gonna, we know it's not gonna slide or move. Here it's a little bit wide, so we didn't have to worry about it quite as much.
But we are gonna protect it though from where we end at the sheet pile all the way to there with some rock, so it doesn't erode anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're looking down by. What about the little bit of growth? Yeah, but, Steve Smith and I, for the whole people from other parts of the state down here, you drive along the LA1 and a 4-lane and you look like you're living in regular ground and not realizing how much water is just on the outside. Yeah. I mean, some of our people don't realize how much water is on the outside. Okay, again, it's, just kind of show what we have over here. Now, we have contractors out right now doing work. This is the pump station number 6 behind South Lafourche. Okay, this is on the east side of the levee. We're looking south right now. Loop, this is the loop, Chrysler's Reservoir. This is heading north, going in this direction. And raising this levee, some places were 11 and a half, bringing that up to about 14 and a half. 14 and a half. And what's really good about this area is that you still have a bunch of tree areas, the marsh is almost solid, so we don't, a lot of that wave action that we get on this side is probably going to be reduced because we have such good natural terrain. We're looking north from pump station number 6, and again, it's coming out real good. I wish everything around the levee system looked as good as this. We're heading north again. Again, we're looking at a 14 and a half foot elevation, some of it was almost down 11 and a half. So that's all real good. Again, that's the back of South Lafourche area, going to Florida. And this is what's been going on from the parking Golden Meadow all the way to pump station number 2 in Bully Dam. So here we're looking north, and the contractor took the dirt from this side and through here. And now he's taking the dirt that's in the water and over here and putting it up here. We're getting close to finishing this. Neil, you were saying when you think?
The currently authorized work should be done within the next 6 weeks, but I think we'll talk about later in the meeting some additional work that
Yeah,
you and Andre can look at.
I'm going to show it, to show the numbers in a minute.
Okay.
And again, here's the park area. And no, the park's over here. And these are the spots that there's a few spots that are port contract and a couple of spots. Because we're getting the dirt put there for $3 a cubic yard, there's another, some areas that we can take out. And I believe it's still worth spending the extra money right now to get that dirt there. That way we're good for the next 10 years for raising for some of the compaction that take place. This is one of the first spot. Okay, here's another one. This is where we're gonna go ahead and connect the road from our property so we can get to the levee directly from here. It's also a way of, if we get a strong north wind blowing, stacking that water up in Golden Meadow, could cause a problem here. We could slow the water down, it'd stack up in a few places before you get the full height all the way in Golden Meadow if you get a constant north wind. Again, this is some areas they're going to be doing just a little bit of work to finish the contract. And this is it, part of the already contract cost. And here's the extra 85,000 cubic yards at $3 a cubic yard. Cost us $255. Jim's going to talk about it during this section, but I would suggest that we should go ahead and kind of bite the bullet and spend that money and get it there, because you know, we don't want to get have to get another big machine and transfer property costs. And this is the mitigation project. Yeah.
When do you think you'll be cutting the levee there at the Gulfport pump station?
If we do the additional authorized work, that should still be completed by May. Yes, sir. Yeah.
And this is the levee, and there's some pipelines here, so they didn't want to put any dirt on it. And this has been working out okay, but it is leaking a little bit over here. They're losing some material. We'll talk about that a little later, try to get that completed. And again, that's the form at Paul Dufresne's form area here, and here's our levee here. It's starting to accumulate a little bit. Yeah, here's our levee, and you can see the mounds of dirt, but what is, you can see the dirt is getting to the other side. And there was a story on Jean Charles.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they showed Fala, and I mean, a few years ago, I went fishing and found a 4x6 that I was told that's where Fala was. There's not much left of it, but this is the typical, now I remember the stories about the kids going to school, that boat had to pick them up to go to school.
Yeah.
Fala's on the other side of Catfish Lake.
That's the Nordor family.
Yeah. Was that?
There's the Nordor family.
Yeah.
JC's family.
Our dad, dad lived in there too, at one time.
How many buildings did they have at Fala?
I don't remember that many.
They had a few.
Yeah, and some of them north of the lake too.
Yeah. I remember when, golly, this is 1965, David Bourgeois and I were in the real estate business together. We took, the bank took 7 acres, Mr. Verdad, Mayfield Verdad owned 7 acres of land on Fala. He took that and he bought Huey Hunter's house and cut off next to the Port Commission building there. He bought that, he used that as collateral to buy the house.
And there's no land there. There's no land there.
That was 7 acres at the time.
At the time.
Before he paid the house off, so it's no matter.
There ain't no mountain up with it,
Yeah.
Yeah, literally what you look here, that makes this.
And then what you heard.
Yeah. All right.
Cut off canal.
I'm here.
Dig it up and dig it up. I would love that.
But I went through those projects, and again, I suggested, I don't want to use this on moving forward, but we'll stop it when the board doesn't want to. But I'd like a motion from the board to allow engineering or completed engineering for all those projects. Like I said, it costs us about $500,000, a little bit more than $500,000, but if a project, if some money's available from, and people are not moving, we can be ready to move, and it gives us a strong argument. You don't do that, we'll wait till
General
the
manager that we stand possibly $500,000, engineering, various engineering projects. Your wishes, gentlemen. Moved by May, second by Monica. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
We're a member of the More Grants Action Coalition. Dues will be coming up in June, but I'd like for the board to give board president the right to make the decision and negotiate after talking to our attorney. Oh, wow, okay, I'll go back. Yeah. Well, let's jump back to the top.
Yeah, let's go back to the top.
Okay.
Proposed budget.
Okay, yeah, with proposed budget, you'll find a proposed budget, we have to get that in 3 months before June 1. So when you look at it right now, this is a proposed budget, we can adjust it any time. And in fact, usually we will amend the budget the month before the year starts and then later in the year. But you need to approve it if you are willing to do with those numbers there.
Okay, you've been presented a copy of the proposed budget for this coming year. Your wishes, gentlemen, on this proposed budget. Moved by Max, seconded by Bob. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, we have the bids that come in, the bid results for the spare pump that we have. The low bid is from Wisconsin. We had some discussions that's, if there be any problem, it might be hard to head up to Wisconsin and try to get that pump back. It could be a problem. Also, in further discussions with our attorney, he said, we really don't believe we would have to, for this purpose, have to have a organized bid. We could just get some quotes and that would be sufficient. So on this suggestion, we would ask that you deny this low bid and allow us to go ahead and get quotes for the repair of this pump.
The reason we're being concerned is the bid is $22,700. You're sending a $200,000 pump up there. And if there's a problem, you stuck with a pump that you can make go to $250,000 to replace if you get an emergency. So the idea from my meeting was just to go ahead and deny, term refuse all bids and go back to quotes. Anybody have any questions on that?
I'll do it.
So,
Need a motion?
Yeah, they will
motion to review,
to reject all bids and that allow getting quotes.
Okay, you made a recommendation by general manager, your wishes. Moved by Rowland, second by Rowland. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, and we already did the approval for the projects of Organza Action Coalition. We allow with the recommendation of our attorney to the president to negotiate on entering or not entering the agreement with the Organza Action Committee. It's not necessary till June, but it gives some time to talk about the issues.
Let me ask you this, and you all might know more about it, you know, I'm officially a member of that, but I've been having difficulty going to meetings lately, quite a few meetings. We had one person, Mr. Dre, Bob Dre, Tony Dre, and myself going there. With the rules of the, do I have to serve, or can I appoint someone to serve in my place?
You can have anyone,
Yeah.
anyone you want, so,
And it can be another board member?
but you can only have 2 board members, right?
Yeah, well, no,
No,
the other guy's not a
we
board
can
member.
only have one.
One board member and a member of the
Designation
public.
to replace
Right,
him.
right, but it can be anybody you designate.
Okay, I'll be talking to members, anybody wants to serve to replace me, we'll take care of it, probably do it at the next meeting. Okay, that clears that up for me. So you're talking about going ahead and negotiating our.
Yeah, we have to make a decision within the next 2 weeks. Might as well, I'll give you the authority to do that, and you guys have some time to discuss it.
Okay,
But I like that motion to do it.
okay, gentlemen, you've heard the recommendation of allowing me to negotiate the upcoming dues for MAC. And I'll come back to you before I can take any action, so I need a motion and a second to that. Moved by Marty, seconded by Mitch. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
And we had talked about this lease agreement for the boat rental at their Grand Bayou. This will be for the work on Section K and a few other projects and the Grand Bayou floodgate, okay? I'd like to, give the right back to the president upon recommendation of our attorney to sign that agreement. In this, in our agreement with Terrebonne and Lafourche, they will pay for this lease. This is for basically Morganza. So I'd like the board to give the president the right to sign the agreement upon the recommendation of our attorney.
Okay, you heard the motion, the recommendation and the reasoning behind it by the general manager to allow me to work out a lease agreement for both dock rails and the roads based upon the recommendation of our attorney. Moved by Rowland, second by Keith. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
And I just wanted to mention, Pete Nelson was the guy we did the filming on that Ike film, and he's looking at getting out, you can't copy it directly off of YouTube, but he's getting permission to get it back so we can get it, keep our own personal copy. So I want to thank him for that. But that's all I have.
Okay. Engineer reports, CPRA, Daniel.
Not much. Winfield, I was talking to project manager James Menace. He said that he's gonna be getting back with you. I think you had some phone calls in.
Yeah, in fact, he called me just 5 minutes before the meeting started.
Well, that's why, because I was on the phone about,
Yeah.
that's why he was pressuring me, that's the get off. But, another thing, I don't know, a couple of those projects you were mentioning in the slideshow, the smaller projects. I'm not sure how official this is, but James sent me some emails that, a couple of these have new Go Mesa projects assigned to them. I don't know if that's.
Yeah, well, one of them, yeah, and
Well-
but these other ones, we're looking, because Go Mesa's next year.
Right.
We don't wanna wait, so,
Well,
I
yes.
get with James, but we're gonna go ahead
Yeah, with
and
him,
fund it with our money.
Yeah,
And then hopefully we can renegotiate that money to another project.
yeah, like, D South elevation,
Yes,
that and the D South crawfish farm, both of them have state project IDs. So,
right,
I mean,
exactly.
so that's
And
good.
want to be able to ship that money somewhere else, not wait for the
Right.
money next year, because we got a hurricane season coming this year.
That's good.
The North Door keeping Go Mesa, we're going to the Go Mesa regulations, and that money is gonna be available to get that done.
And I did ask about, the Golden Meadow for a while, they have the plans
Yeah.
up there, you know, he gave me the standard 1 to 2 week, review, but, it might be something you wanna talk to you about.
Yeah, thank you.
But,
Anything else, Daniel?
no, that's it, thanks.
Any questions, Daniel? Thank you. Okay, project engineers, official assistants.
Yes, on LA1 elevation and realignment at the locks. As you recall, we had the issue with contractor time with Byron Tower contractor. We did have a conference call with Ray Collins and their attorney and negotiated a settlement or an agreement. And we ended up charging them for 36 days, so that's $36,000 of damages. We ended up giving them 25 days of contract time on the 61 that we had recommended. So we do have a change order number 2 on the agenda for approval for a deduction of the contract of $36,000 and adding 25 days of contract time.
Okay, can I explain some of the reasoning why we're spending additional money that we originally said we weren't gonna spend? And the idea of that is if we do go to trial, we'll have additional costs, attorney's fees, we'll have other things involved. Plus, what concerns me more than anything else is that if we do go to trial and the ruling is against us, there's already been a ruling against the school board ruling on the same type of matter, and it might set a precedent for the state, which would probably be law, which could confuse us and harm us in future negotiations. So we felt best to go ahead and just bite the bullet, go with what we had now, even though I think there possibly could have won, there was a possibility we could have lost it also. We felt that it was more prudent way to work it and put that behind
And the
us.
school board issued in Orleans Parish. It wasn't it's not to confuse our
Yes, and that was a much larger.
Yeah.
And the way the law reads, you gotta give them everything and try to get it back at the end, right?
So anyway, that's the, you heard the recommendation of our engineers, your wishes, gentlemen. Moved by Max, second by Monty. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
And along with that, we have the clear lien certificate, so we owe the contractor the retainage, and the retainage, that's the change order, is gonna be pay application number 11 in the amount of $90,024.11.
And that includes the 25 days, right?
Yes, sir. So that's the final you're gonna pay. So we recommend that you pay that invoice.
Gentlemen, your wishes. Moved by Mitch, second by Bob. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
The roads, floodgate, the steel A-frame wall, the concrete eye wall, sea level construction, all the steel work is done, all the sheet pile are in, the piles are in place, all the welding is done. They're working on doing the concrete pile cap on the west side and also doing a concrete eye wall on the east side. They're on schedule to be finished pretty much on time, which is the end of this month. So once they pour that concrete, there's gonna be a lot of just dressing up and cleaning up. So They do have pay application number 8 in the amount of $382,113.27, and we do recommend you pay that.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of engineers to pay C-Level Construction, pay application number 8 in the amount of $382,113.27. Your wishes. Moved by Roland Kuro, seconded by Keith. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion
And on section east-south, this is the pictures that we showed from pump station 6-1 to the north towards Globally. Levee Construction's a contractor. He's currently working, he's got about 5,000 feet done, graded in shape so far. Everything's passing tests, it looks nice. They have about 4 miles total to do, so they've got 1 mile out of 4 done. So this is gonna be ongoing throughout the year. We have pay application number 3 in the amount of $33,903.13. I recommend you pay that.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of engineers to pay Civil Land Construction, the application number 3 in the amount of $33,903.15. Gentlemen, no wishes. Moved by Roland, second by Roland. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Yeah, considering all the rain, that they've done pretty good. I didn't expect to see that much work done. We're having trouble almost every 3 days with the rain, just stuff to mess you up. But, again, they're accomplished work, so if it dries up, we expect it to probably move a lot faster.
Looking good.
On E-North levee improvements, this project is to dig some dirt, create from borrow on the Cloverly property. It's basically from where the old 40 Orphan Canal levee was going to the west, that Cloverly Farms owns. And we're gonna take that material and put it on the inside part of the levee from the corner at Cloverly Farms all the way to Superior Dock. We did get approval from the state, that our plans and specifications are approved. So we're currently advertising for bids. We're gonna take bids on April 8th at 10 a.m. Let's see. On D-South levee improvements, this is the section Wendell talked about. SBL was the low bidder. Contract documents are complete. We held a pre-construction meeting last week. We have all the right-of-ways from ConocoPhillips. This one also is digging some borrow on ConocoPhillips property in the area of the crawfish farm. And then we're gonna place that material in the protected side berm of D-South near pump station number 4. And then later, we're gonna come and create the crown and
That goes
build up to that.
from pump station number 4 to where?
That's a drainage, well, the levee is from number 4 to the crawfish pond, but the Borough Canal is our drainage canal, the parish has always used, which is just gonna wind it up, make it more efficient, and we're getting dirt there. And we wanna thank ConocoPhillips, they've been really cooperative with this project, and when you look at all the terraces and the other marsh project that's being completed just about right now, that's helped out this side of the levee with our open water. ConocoPhillips has been a good partner with us over the past few months.
So we're gonna be issuing a notice to proceed for them to start. Everything's in place to start, and we'll work with the contractor to get him going. On section F, this project's from the north part of Cloverly Farms up to pump station number 7. We met with Wendell last week to discuss, we've done all our surveys and kind of have a design template and discussing volumes and budgets. So we have direction from Wendell on which way to go with that. So we're gonna finalize our project plans. On 8 East, we've done all our field survey and we're working on project plans. And the Go-to-Better pump station foot wall, all our plans are complete, all our calculations are complete. We're gonna build that steel wall up to plus 17. We've submitted about 2 weeks ago to the state our project plans and design calculations for their approval. Once they give us approval, we'll go out for bids.
Any other questions of Bill? Thank you. Okay, moving on to GIS engineering, John.
By Lafourche water level control, we're still waiting on the core permit from that. He keep asking them every couple of weeks, or actually every week, and they still have not gotten there, so we'll make a bigger push for it.
It looked like the last letter, they were talking like they were close, actually, it was a 408.
They're getting close.
I can't hear it.
What?
Can't hear
That's
Well,
about what it is. In fact, I
Well,
would
that
say
was
a little
the
more
state
than that.
permit, but the 408, I mean, come on, we don't have a levy, not too much bigger than this table going against a levy that's almost 20 feet high. They take it months to say that it won't affect it. It's unbelievable.
Years to say that.
Years.
The D-South flood wall improvements, we're continuing with that. We're getting close to the final numbers from Eustis and Geotech to be able to finalize that design. So we're hoping to be able to advertise next month, although I think we've got to get CPRA buy-in on that as well, so that might push that back a little bit. And before I go too far, we're also handling the Grand Bayou construction for that. We had our mandatory rebid conference last Tuesday here. We had 4 prime contractors show up. We're taking bids next Wednesday. So,
Any estimates on that you're looking at?
The construction estimate's 15 million.
15, and that's funded through CPO, right?
We'll make that.
yes, yeah, go make some up.
And again, in the agreements that we have, whatever, if the insurance policy, it would go through Terrebonne or no,
Yeah.
who's handling that.
Right, if I remember right, though, they've got 18 million that they put in. So there's
So-
some cushion.
I mean, that's what I was gonna get into my update, so I just didn't get it now while I was relevant. So we met with Chip last week. We are not expecting it to come in at 15. So we're expecting some change, and Chip did confirm with us that if there is change, we get to keep it here, so that we can apply that to reach K. So, and I've spoke with a few contractors, so I'm pretty sure it will come in at bid or under. So, but we do have 18.5 million set aside for it.
Anything else, John?
That'd be it.
Any questions, John?
Okay, thank you.
And while he's up, any questions of Mitch? You cut the line, you know that.
I know, but if I might,
We made this exception this time, though. Watch
I was just giving Wendell more time for his presentation. I'm cutting next one.
Angela Pisciola, Neil.
All right, on section 2 north and B-side levee improvements, that's from base on pump station down to the Golden Mile Park. That contract, the Pontchartrain Partners, is wrapping up all of the authorized construction work. We are recommending approval of their pay request number 32 in the amount of $269,124.45.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of the minister, state Pontchartrain Partners, they request number 32, the amount of $269,124.45. Your wishes, gentlemen. Moved by Max, second by Mike. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
And also on that project, Wendell and Drake and I looked last week at the entire reach of that levee on B north and B south. We're recommending that the board give us the authority to approve up to an additional 85,000 yards of material at the $3 per cubic yard price, which would be up to $255,000. That'll give us an opportunity as we make our way out to capture a couple of major areas and anything else that we see that we'd like to address some deficiencies
Okay,
in future materials. That would
you heard the recommendation, initial 85,000.
85,000 cubic yards at $3.
Moved by Bob, seconded by Mitch. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Okay, on the Seaside levee improvements, this is from the base on pump station up to the south side of Apache Farm. We're currently advertising to receive bids on this at the end of the month, on March 31st.
And that is to
That is going to be, Wendell and I actually talked about this a little bit on Friday, and I think we're gonna have an addendum on this bid process. We were originally gonna probably do a $1 million project, which would take all of the excavated material that ROV had put up last year and actually put it in place into a shaped levee. I think we're gonna restructure this bid, still keeping that March 31st bid date, just to relay the material, but not put it in place yet. And that should bring that project down to about $600,000.
You know, just, we want to make sure that we have enough money to improve all those projects we just mentioned. And with the tight budget, we want to make sure we get that done, and the other ones. And then you have less material on the side, but we're gonna do this eventually, all of it's gonna get done eventually. But if all the bids come in right, we can shift money around from one to the other. And that's why this bid's gonna have addendums to add that material back again.
I'm a little slow in the uptake. What exactly what you're gonna do? You're gonna take dirt that's there?
So there's material that was excavated from the canal and placed on the edge of the canal so that we could use it for future. Now that Tom is here to use it. So this project is gonna take that edge material from land-based machines and put it at the toe of the levee, so that somewhere down the line, as the budget allows, it can be utilized to raise the levee.
In other
So
words,
this will do
You
the
plan to replace that at the toe of the levee?
no, that was put there specifically for this purpose, so it's not needed.
There's no need to strengthen the berm?
No, this is way out on the canal edge.
In fact, we probably have, instead of a 1.5, we probably got 25.5.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we got
Right now,
300 feet of dirt, and we're gonna be taking the outside edge to make sure not to lose 1 cubic yard that we paid for from the other side. Take it there, put it next to the levee, instead of shaping it this time, put it all we need to, and then maybe with our equipment, maybe with small contractors, maybe with an extension of the bid, we get it to close to 18 feet.
Okay.
You know, but as we see it come up, that's why, what we've been doing, it allows the contractor to see exactly what he has. Before, when you did the whole big project at one price, you know, the guy puts one big price, has subcontractors, you don't know how good or bad the material is, you just have no idea. Now, you see exactly what you got, and you can bid real close, because there's no unknowns.
Okay.
And that's it on that item. On the Morganza to the Gulf Reach Ale,
Did we vote on this?
this was actually approved, Mr. Colley, at the last meeting.
Okay.
To advertise, so we currently advertise. On the Morganza to the Gulf Reach Ale, the plans and specifications for that project are currently being reviewed, and we will be ready to submit to CPRA this month.
That's going to tie into.
Yes, that is gonna go
The
from
other end.
Grand Bayou all the
I mean,
way to
GIS.
the western, from the GIS project all the way to the western side of Apache Farm.
Okay. Anything else out there?
No, sir.
Any questions, Neil? Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, all South Consultants.
Can I say one thing
You
first?
had your turn.
I made a mistake.
Always holding the time.
I made a mistake. I said the money left over would be put to reach K, but it actually would be put to reach L, to Neil's project.
That's
I
I was thinking that when you,
I made that mistake earlier. I'm
you know, I was thinking that when you said it.
Yeah.
I had caught that, but I was wondering. I was how sure.
I've got stuff. See? Well, you know,
Now can see you.
Can I talk now?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
All right, we'll make sure, we'll get before into that. Okay, I got two projects, Mr. Chairman. Marsh mitigation project, Wendell showed a couple pictures of this during his presentation. This is about 50 acres of marshland building just outside of the Apache Farm. As mitigation for Reach K, the project continues to be under construction. Wendell touched on the fact, again, the contract's had a little bit of a problem containing a small portion of the southeast corner of it, using those hay bales you saw on there. We've been working with them to get better containment, but otherwise the project really is progressing pretty nicely. They moved about 200,000 cubic yards of material, and they're supposed to move about 287,000 cubic yards. So they're getting closer to the end of that job, and they're starting to get elevation in that open water over there. The next project that I have to report on is the next phase of Reach K. We're going to improve, and we finished our Reach K dredge project last year. We're going to improve the lower, basically 3 miles of that by reshaping that material. We've been having extensive consultations between us, Wendell, Mitch, and Reggie from the Terrebonne Levee District about how we're going to do this work, how much material we're going to move up and down the levee. There's a lot of material out there. We're gonna shape it into a levee, and some of it that we're not gonna need to shape it into our first lift of the levee. We're gonna try and move north and south along the levee, along the whole levee alignment. And frankly, we've been debating about how much of that we're gonna move in this first phase versus how much we're gonna move in the next phase. Okay, it's not going to waste, it's just whether you put it in the first contract or perhaps the second contract. But I believe we're gonna have all those discussions resolved this month and have this ready to go out to bid before the end of this month. And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any questions this evening? If you understood what he was saying.
You don't want no money, so we good.
That's the point.
Where's Reggie when you need him? Right?
Okay, gentlemen,
I'm just trying to get a word in
let's see
before
if
we
we
stop.
step on after, right? There you go.
Mike D'Angelo with Aptum. Just one project to report on the Grand Bayou floodgate structure. We prepared a draft amendment for engineering and record services for the project, and we've submitted that to Mitch. So I think it's a matter of Mitch and I getting together and getting that approved, and then we would come submit that to the board for approval. So,
Is there a time issue with that, Rich?
Not really. He and I talked last week, we're gonna get together this week. I don't know if, so it's coming from the same pot of money. I don't know if you guys want to pass a motion approving that pending legal.
Well,
and,
we could, that's all I wanted to know. I mean, we
Okay.
could get the board to authorize the president to go ahead and sign with the recommendation.
Yeah, depending on legal approval and program management approval and the administration of the district.
So we could get that if you want that, make that motion.
That way we don't have to wait until
You're
next
just
month.
walking over everybody.
I'm trying to include everybody.
Okay, what action do you need?
No, as you described, give you the right to sign the agreement that they will develop and to get that agreement between Aptum and Flood District.
Based on our attorney.
Based on the Rich and our attorney.
Okay, you heard the recommendation of our general manager, your wishes, gentlemen. Moved by Mitch, second by Booker Rowan. Excuse me, Keith, second Rowan. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, legal permits.
Okay, we have one this month, the Lafourche Parish Government, after reviewing this permit, looking for the board to approve this.
Okay, you heard the recommendation of our chairman, and a motion to approve this one. Permit for the parish government, move to second by Mac. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
So that permit is about putting Haskell baskets and also a berm to help protect the community of Lafourche and flooded for Hurricane Barry. And the parish is ramrodding that project, bringing protection up to about a 7-foot elevation. We'll see.
Okay, Mr. Attorney, no news. Okay, finance committee, Mike.
Okay, before I give the report, I want to make sure Mitch needs to say anything else, so that I get my opportunities. You finished, you good?
I'm not talking anymore.
Finance committee met earlier, and we recommend pay all invoices as presented.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of the chairman, and motion by the second, by the chairman, to pay all bills as presented, as all good people should do. Second by Mac, any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Personnel committee.
All right, the personnel committee met earlier, and last meeting, we looked at some revised personnel policy and procedures that were done. I'm not sure if the board needs to approve them, or if it's just FYI, or just, okay, so the committee reviewed them, they're minor improvements and stuff, so we're just looking for a motion from the board.
You have a copy of the changes in your manual. Okay, motion by the chairman, second by Mitch, that we approve the changes to the personnel committee, the policies and procedures. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Okay, another topic for the personnel committee, we reviewing applications for a position to be filled for navigation operation 1. we're gonna get, your manager in the room with Drake to come back with like recommendation of 5, recommendation of 3 after y'all screen, and then we're gonna make our recommendation.
When you advertise.
I think when you have
Oh,
like 15.
I told him to have it in
15,
today on Facebook.
Oh,
But
no,
not
no.
really a.
There's about 15 applicants I think we have to
A lot of
review.
interest.
So we're in the process of still reviewing those to make a final decision. So we're gonna follow that till next week. Okay?
If there's no objection, we might, you know, right now we're taking one more few people to sit in at the floodgate, like, a lot. So, if there's no objection, we do have some, temporary openings that we can fill, and, we're thinking we'd like to get somebody so our guys would not have to go over there and stay in the field. If there's no objection, we might hire somebody that's temporary until we can get final selection.
Well, why don't we give, Wendell and Travis the authority to hire him? They didn't have to come back, you did right away, it'd be a permanent. If they would
Yeah.
come back and approve.
Y'all, right, y'all were ready, y'all find an applicant, we're ready to go, let's move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you need to, get a
Or
motion.
give us,
Motion the committee give, the general manager and our operations manager the authority to hire whoever we need to replace him. Gentlemen, moved by Mitch, second by Marty. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, any old business? Any old business? Any new business? Any new business? If not, need a motion. Motion by, Keith, second by George. Signify by saying aye.
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 Doing good?